highly unlikely event of an emergency, the uniformed crew member will be there to assist you in the donning of life jackets. There are life rings aboard as well. There are 2 on the lower deck, 1 on the stern, the back of the boat, 1 on the bow, the front of the boat. There are also 2 on the upper deck and on the lower side of the
Get my own microphone and everything. Hello guys. Good evening. Welcome aboard. My name is Molly. I'll be your tour guide for the next 90 minutes on the river architecture tour. First and foremost, there are so many of you, and I'm so excited to talk to you over the next 90 minutes. Like I also said, I want to make sure everyone here is comfortable. So, Adrian Smith might sound familiar to some friends on the boat tonight. He's the same architect that designed the first Khalifa, the world's tallest program. Pretty hard. I'll put some letters to see if that's too. Anyway, Adrian Smith he's from Chicago. To your right, my friends, this is the American Medical Association, designed in 1971 by Lee Janro. This building was formerly known as the IBM building for a very long time. It's a great example of the international style of architecture. Between 3 words, less is more. More means a little bit better. Now, I feel like this is very unteacher of me to say, but I need you guys to pick out your phones. I need you to pick up a picture of the next 2 buildings. Because the phone edit some buildings. To your right, this is called 300 North. You guys, Wolf Point here is a very special part of Chicago. Because right over here is where Chicago had began as a city. Back in 1837, Chicago saw a lot of its roots just over here. We saw our first tavern, our first post office, our first hotel. All of that initially, it was right over here. Now, at one of those taverns in 1837, Chicago, renovation back in the 80s was a lot of work. Now, Harry Weiss designed these 4 cottages off to your left. These are called the Chicago River Townhomes. These are range from 3 to 5 stories, built up in the early 80s. Each one comes through a private boat dock in front, which is really cool because we don't want to do that anymore. We live along the river, so we make it way too congested with boats. My grandfather did. Examples of the European industrial style of architecture. It basically means they look unfinished. That's the characteristic of the style. It was never that popular here in Chicago. Now guys, above these trees, to right in the distance, you're notice the building covered in blue glass, with these really blocky, solid concrete corners. And briefly, one of my favorite details in the North Branch is a small one. I want you guys to take a look. Above us to your left, there's going to be a statue of a figure standing on top of the ziggurat tower. There's a figure up there. Her name is Progress Lighting the World. The artist is J.C. Morgan. She's been here, but never actually used for that purpose. Because we built all this, and then we realized a newspaper barge can never physically fit. Another thing to point out though, right? These buildings might remind you of a certain American Medical Association we saw earlier, right? It was like the second building on our tour. Now, Bruce Graham was actually, hey, look at that. We've made it. This is one of my favorite parts of our tour, not just because we're about to have a little break, but because we made it to Chinatown, guys. So take a look off to your left. Those beautiful red walkways, oh, fabulous. Those belong to Pingtom Park, and of course Chinatown here. The name Pingtom comes from Chinatown's civic leader, and I have to tell you, Pingtom way long ago had realized that a lot of the children in China's oldest remaining vertical lift bridge in the United States functions like a giant elevator. Part in the middle raises up to a maximum height of 150 feet.
Oh, sorry.
It's lit up bright orange tonight, and it's got this like silver figure at the very top. That silver figure, her name is Ceres. And she stands on top of the Board of Trade building, designed in 1930 by Oliver and Bruce. My interesting story about Ceres repair is that Ceres does not have a face. As John Story, the artist in 1930, liked to get him with a face and took a beautiful statue. The argument was actually quite simple. He said no one was going to be tall enough or high enough to see early 1980s by Cone, Peterson, and Fox. The top of this building is easily the brightest point in the entire Chicago skyline. And the story about this one structurally sound is a further building. It's also one of our most flexible. And super windy days. Buildings, like the three towers, the mountains, this is about 18 inches. You have to give it a measure. And that's not so cool, because it's kind of those big roughly history, even the last structural issues, right? But there's stories of people that worked for years back in the early 1930s. Why I've got that nice little V instead of a U. All the hydraulic systems on the inside of this opera house are powered directly by the Chicago River, which is pretty cool considering how old the building itself is. Anyway guys, the wigwam was a structure that used to be off to rights in the 1800s. The wigwam in 1860 hosted the National Republican Convention. Right over here is where Chicago officially nominated in 1983 by Cone, Peterson, and Fox. Now, a couple things about this building. It's great. Every evening there are 2 shows at 9 and 9:30 west. These projections come from those projectors right across the river. This is the world's largest visual public art display. Riverwalk that look a lot like this. And every section offers its own unique amenity for the public to enjoy. We've got fountains for kids to play in during the daytime when the weather's nice. The top of Triangle Picture, a great example of the U.S. Gothic style of architecture, has elements of pediments, arcades, and columns, are all done with a very modern rendering. Now, there's the goal of the architecture to bring back in like traditional elements of architecture and into modern design. I don't think that's really nice. Coming up to the right again, we'll look at a very small block building with ribbon. This is how the Soviet Rio for next building, designed in 1989. Now, these most electric ribbons have silver bars kind of on them, silver rods. These are those silver moldings, and they serve the purpose of reflecting natural light directly to the inside of the building. The architects have failed to realize that tall black buildings absorb lots of natural light, and they get very dark on the inside. So molding them will add the material to help break up the interior. This will look like a house, and it is really cool. You can see the next to the they were offices, they had headquarters here. Typically, they might have a building area, and those operators. Coming up on the left side is an extremely decorative looking building. The top will be all really often on the ground, and often the very top of the building. Not enough to walk traffically back to what we were doing. Above the side is Chicago's hideous skyscraper, so narrow, but it's called Mather Tower, designed in 1929 by Herbert Riddle. If you guys take a look at the very top of this red building, you notice at the top of it, it's a little bit brighter than a shade of white than the rest of it. That's because in 2006, architects and engineers alike looked at this building and the set was too tall, so structurally unstable and a dangerous copper molding. So, there's a little floors to the very top of it, which apparently makes the light and dust difference of all of us beneath it ever since. So, look at this. So Mather Tower, M-A-T-H-E-R. See, that's my friend, it's a London house. This is one of the members of London's Guarantee building, designed in 1923 by Alfred X. Angela. This building was quite well known for its jazz nightclub on the first floor. Popular once when linked with Alfred Owen. Today it's home to a very fancy boutique hotel with an excellent rooftop bar and restaurant. People ask me lots of rooftop in Chicago. I like the London house the best because you can deliver goes all over the day. Hotel with condos on the inside. The same reason for the self don't rich that hotel starts from that about our city, and you can make the story of the Chicago River itself. The story is like this. You guys have to remember, Chicago back in the 18th, that's called Biscayne Tower, designed in 1968 by Schindler's and Heinrich. There's a really about this building with them. This is the only private building that's built around Chicago's entire public footprint. I told you guys to talk about it. This is our new Apple store. Opened up back in 2006 for the Wrigley. I'm getting to it. The thing is, Wrigley's now is all chewing gum. You know what they used to sell? Hey! And 2 horizontal blue stripes. Those 4 stars stand for 4 important events that happened in our city, many of which we've already talked about tonight. The first red star stands for Fort Dearborn.